I don't. Did you? I don't know. Like, there. She's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JB.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today. This is a big day.
Big day.
I think we talked extensively about how much we enjoy the show Work in Progress.
Oh yeah, so excited about today. I love that show. I cannot wait till the third season.
Yeah, and this past one I feel was it was just stellar. You know, like it was so good. Everything was so well written. The progression and the characters. It was just
Definitely.
great. So we're fortunate enough to have we have Campbell. We have the best friend Campbell.
Campbell, yeah.
Let's get the name right. Is it Pechous? Pechous. We're gonna find out because she's here right now.
We will find out. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Hey, hi there.
Hi. What a thrill.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. That's so nice.
Oh,
thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Wow.
Super excited. We're just talking about how we talked extensively about how much we love Work in Progress, and especially this last season. Yeah, this last season was so stellar. You know,
thank you.
The character progression, the storyline, everything was so well done. You know, like really, it felt like the first seasons we were getting our feel. You know, we were getting the vibe.
Yeah.
And this season was just knocked it out of the park. Like, just makes you want to keep going.
Thank you.
Good. You should
The
be.
writing incorporated the COVID situation and what was happening currently, and it was just amazing. And I gotta say, I love the exposed brick behind you. I'm a big fan. Are you in Chicago? Are you?
I lived in Chicago for 10 years, but I'm in Los Angeles now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Los Angeles and exposed brick. That's even better.
Yes.
That's sweet. Jay, you got that. You got yours too.
I did that. I have a fake
on that wall over there.
I have a fake exposed brick in my house because I don't really have brick, but
I love it. And you don't really find them unless you're like in Chicago or New York. Like in Chicago, I had my very first apartment in Chicago was all exposed. It was a cool little loft. And then my second apartment in Los Angeles was, and then, I mean, I've moved like 8 times since, but.
Oh my God. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that on that wall right there.
That would be perfect.
That'd look awesome.
It's the dream. It's the dream.
Work towards that dream.
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed a big part of the show is about being in Chicago. I mean, it's filmed in Chicago, right? And they make a point out of saying that. And
absolutely
it's very true to that, authentic Chicago. Is there a reason for that? Is Abby from there?
Abby lives in Chicago, and actually Abby and I met 23 years ago now. We're going on. Actually, we met even before then. We met about 25 years ago when I was still living in Iowa. And then when I moved to Chicago, Abby and I met through the improv community. And Tim Mason, who directed and co-created season 1, he and I were in our very first improv class together 20 something years ago. So the storyline definitely has Chicago as a character. And let's face it, there's really no city like Chicago. I don't know if you've both been there, but it's an incredible town.
Yeah, I had a cousin that lived there for years, and he says the same thing that you're saying right now.
Yeah, it's sweetheart city, and there's just a massive load of talent there. It's just beautiful in every aspect of the city, and Abby is a staple there.
Is it the Groundlings? What's the improv group there?
Second City.
Second City.
Okay. Yeah. So And Abby and I both toured with the Second City for many years. And so we come from those stomping grounds. But there was also IO and then the Annoyance Theater. So it's really
My cousin worked at both of those at the Second City and at Annoyance.
okay, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Years
That's
ago.
where we got our chops. And
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of the mothership.
Yes.
You know,
That, yeah.
so-
But do you feel like because of that improv background, that's why your scenes together are so authentic?
Yeah, that along with just Abby and my friendship
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
decades back. And we
Yeah.
have performed with each other forever. You know, we've improvised together tons of times. And then like the directors and the writers all knew that we are improvisers. They are too, a lot of them. And so they let us kind of, you know, they trusted us with it. But if you
Great.
give Abby and me an inch, we will take that mile. But yeah, it does create more of a very relaxed, naturalistic like environment when we're doing those scenes.
It comes through. It comes
Yeah,
through so much.
It does.
Can't tell you how many times like I've turned to my wife and I've said, it feels unscripted, doesn't it? Like it,
Right?
their,
Yeah.
their vibe is just they're so connected. They're like
That's a
real
huge compliment.
friends.
I love the episode Two Queens on a Queen. Oh my God. That was amazing. Because first of all, it took me a while to get what that title meant. And then
Me too.
you got to see so much of the city. And
Yeah.
I loved Campbell's family. And I loved the dynamic of both families, because first you visit Abby's family and it was just great. And it's like you can see you guys have a friendship. You have this bond beyond, you know, two actors working together. So it was just really so authentically great, every part of that episode.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That was definitely one of our favorite episodes to shoot.
Yeah, you can feel that. It's amazing to me how it all comes through in the work, you know. And like I was wondering was like, have you been in on from the ground floor, or did she just say, I got a script I want you to take a look at, or were you involved in that part too?
No, well, I was in at the beginning, but originally what she and Tim wanted to do was develop a web series based off her show of the same title, Work in Progress, a one-woman show that she did in Chicago and for a couple of years. And so they started developing it into a web series, but and they called me and they're like, hey, do you want to come down and like shoot a couple scenes playing Abby's best friend? I'm like, yes, it's you guys. Hello. And so so I flew in. I was there literally less than 36 hours, but we shot that very first episode that premiered in season 1. That was when Tim and Abby started editing it, it started to feel much more like a pilot. So they continued to go with that organic, you know, personality that it was starting to show. And so then on a whim, they submitted it to Sundance, and Showtime was in the audience. She met with them like I think it was like the following Monday, and they picked it up direct series for eight episodes.
Wow.
It doesn't happen like that. And so, but it was such a beautiful first episode, just with all those raw emotions and something that we've never really seen before. And so luckily, since I was part of that story in the first episode, I carried on with and continued on with the show.
It's so good. So good.
That's awesome.
I love everything that you guys touch on, from the different dynamics in a family, you know, your blood family, your family, the trans awareness was just eye-opening. And you know, the highs and lows of that were incredible. And what a time to be shining a light on that. You know, it's just
it's necessary. It needs to be there. And you know what was so great about it, I think you're so right with the timing of it. And hopefully it will continue to progress, or that we see these type of voices come to air. And what was so, great is like this is a show that is focused on someone with just a world of family, friends, the queer community, but it's not actually focused on just one, because that's how we live our life, right? Like we have our cousins, and they're not all queer. Like it's like we are part of society. And so we're trying to have this genuine, honest voice, but also what truly made it magical was not only on camera, but behind the camera and behind the scenes, we had this beautiful, diverse group of directors of hair and makeup, of props, set director, everything, camera, part of the queer community, identifying as trans, gay, straight. Gosh, the pilot was done by Lily Wachowski, Tim Mason, who's a straight white guy, Abby, and so like these voices can actually come together and make something really unique.
The diversity is really amazing how that blends together. It's just a really great dynamic of people that come together with a message, and it just comes through. I mean, I just love the way her sister, Abby's sister, is kind of like the total opposite of all of it, but yet she just embraces. I love the brother-in-law, how he just wants to understand and be part of all of the queer community, but he doesn't fit in like any way, but he just wants to be there, and I have to say, the one thing that like a laugh out loud moment was in the very first, I think it was one of the first 2 episodes of the first season, when Abby is finally getting together with her boyfriend, and so they're in bed, and then Campbell keeps calling, and she's like, yes. But I love that Campbell sent the little GIF that says, "I will not be ignored, Dan."
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. Oh my God. I died. That was so funny. Like, I love the way Campbell will relentlessly annoy her and just like break through to her, but be there for her when she needs her. Like in those moments when she was not wanting to come out of her room and everything was dark, and you just like got her back to life. It's just a beautiful like friendship. And
I like being able to laugh through those intense moments too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like what is that line? Like, laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. You
need some type of a release after these, like, at times very heavy emotions. And Abby and Campbell's character was written very, very with the mindset of platonic. Let's show what a platonic friendship can be. And that was so important that none of and I know that there were questions. They're like, oh my God, are Abby and Campbell gonna hook up? And like, especially in that very first, or I'm sorry, one of the last episodes of season 1, we're in the bar and Abby's kind of wasted and going nuts, and Campbell knows her past, like when she's getting to this place. And that was not really a red herring. I think it was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to clean up this mess. And knows the rabbit hole that she's going to spiral into, versus but I'm in love with her, which is not that she loves her. She's not in love. And maybe at one time they made out in college or something, but never got that far.
But I like that, because that's what keeps people wanting more, like wanting to know more. Like, I feel like there's so much to get to in the next season, and waiting for it, and that's one of the things, and everybody's gone through that, like everybody's gone through that. You got your straight bestie, your queer bestie, and no matter who comes into the situation, they want to know the background You know,
Oh, yeah.
did you
Exactly.
guys ever sleep together? Did you guys ever sleep together? Did you ever do it? So yeah, that's like that's so relatable. It's 100% relatable.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through it. Fantastic. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
I just absolutely adore the progression of all the characters. It's so slow, it's so fluid, it's so perfect. It, you know, it's not jumping ahead too far. It's not going, you know, I love when they go back, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the
Yeah,
time jump.
I love that.
Oh yeah, it's so
That's
fun. I mean, season
fantastic.
2 was deliciously composed of those, you know, where we get to see like Abby as a young child and Campbell
Yeah.
and Abby in college and even her
Mhm.
sister when she was younger. So we get to learn more from their past, you know,
There's
and kind of
just
almost
enough of
predict
it.
their future.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so well done. I
Was
go ahead, Jay.
was Julia Sweeney part of this putting the show together, because she was such a part of it in the beginning of the
This is so
show?
random.
I want to
Yeah.
say like Julia helped produce. I might be pulling that out of my butt. But I feel like she was like exec EP or something. But I will say that the whole Julia Sweeney line storyline that did affect Abby, as you when people would call her Pat or whatever, which was exposed in the
Mhm.
very first episode.
Really?
And
Yeah.
and then so then and Julia, oh, the coolest. I love her. She jumped in. She's like,
Yeah.
absolutely, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so she's just a beautiful person, and was all about coming in and you know, and I've read, so that I'm not speaking for anyone, but that this kind of helped her reconcile with that character as well, you
Yeah, I
know.
was just gonna say that. Like, how brave of her to jump in
Yeah.
and, you know, because as it was happening, I'm like, oh my God, like I used to laugh at Pat on Saturday Night Live.
I dressed up as
Right?
Pat for Halloween once.
I have friends that did too. And now I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like right there with her, like learning
Right.
through Abby, you know, like it was
Yeah.
just a fantastic connection. And like I said, so brave to bring that to
Yeah.
the forefront, you know, like
And you
that's
know what?
great.
And like, God bless, like, you know, taking ownership and
Mhm.
seeing how we can move forward
Yep.
through a voice of comedy or narrative. And a lot of the messages that I've gotten from people would be like, hey, you know, I so relate to that. I didn't cut my hair for 7
Mhm.
years because I was afraid that people were gonna, like, you know, call me Pat or whatever. And you know, and it
Yeah.
just needed to be seen.
Yeah.
People need to be seen, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why a lot of people really relate. And again, like I even had, you know, messages from like, hey, I'm a dad of 3 in Arkansas, and I just wanted to say, if this show can make me, a straight white Southern boy, cry like a baby,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, like
Yeah.
he's like, I'm excited for my girl's future, like, you know, like.
Yeah.
And so definitely you know, I think it's relatable for everyone, and unfortunately, like, people are missing out if they're like, oh, it's just, you know, it was like, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Get
but
on board. Yeah, like I tell everybody, like get on board. And it's,
yeah.
you know, it's I think what I came to terms with is that like you don't have to feel bad because nobody back then was aware that it was
Right.
anyone, you know. And I
Right.
got that from reading this article about the woman that created Friends, you know,
Yes.
has like donated money now to
Yeah.
you know, LGBTQ because like she looked back and said, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
We did make some offensive comments, or we did handle this in maybe an offensive way, and we didn't,
Hmm.
you know, we could have handled it a lot better. But then I go, my God, that was 25 years ago. You know, like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
great that she's recognizing it now,
Mhm.
and drawing, you know, a spotlight to it and saying, you know, I'm
Absolutely.
donating and I've learned, and if we were doing it today, we would be better at it because we've
Yes.
learned in 25 years. So yeah, I had to let myself off the hook a little bit there.
Well, we
could
can't
relate,
stop
you
in
know.
our tracks from, our past. It can't prevent us from moving ourselves forward or with personal growth and recognition of faults,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and it was a different crazy time back then
Right.
in the early 90s. I mean, it was
Yeah, it was super transitional. So, people
yes.
were finding their ways and what was politically correct and what wasn't. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
things are really different now. So it's easy now to look back and see that. So, yeah, I think that's great that
It's
people
credit to
now
programs
are
like
fixing
yours.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are programs out there now that are, I get that, they're critically acclaimed and everything, but we're learning from them. Like It's a Sin, and the new Queer as Folk and the new L Word. And, now that they're coming back and they're coming back today. And it's like, we're starting here and we're moving
Right.
forward. And this is what today's society looks like as opposed to what it
Yes.
did 20 years ago. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's great. And I think it's good for people. I don't know about you, Jay, or you, Celeste, but like I don't go clubbing anymore, and I don't go to the cool in spots, so much anymore. And so, sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit behind the times, like I don't really know. So if I'm not seeing it on my TV, I might not be aware of it. So I'm getting to learn.
Same. I don't do anything.
Me neither. Me neither.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
You do
But you
wonderful
do, though.
artwork.
Yeah, I was gonna
oh,
say, you do.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
that certainly is a big compliment, and so thank you very much for that.
I do love crawling all over your Instagram because we should tell everybody it's Celeste and Clogs.
Yes.
And
yes,
it really,
love
yeah,
it.
it's fantastic because
Oh, thank you.
the little journey.
That was this one was my very first one I did
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Vivian through my shepherd who I lost, but yeah.
Oh
We
my
kind of
God.
have the same taste of I think you kind of have the same taste as I do with industrial chic kind of a thing. Like I feel like you're using some of those different aspects in your art that I see, like a little bit of the industrial look, but bringing
Yeah.
it in a more artsy way.
Well, I when it comes to I consider myself a novice when it comes to painting because I picked up a paintbrush maybe 4 years ago now and
Really?
watched a Bob Ross video and I could not draw a tree for the life or paint a tree for the life of me. But I'm like, I know my dog. And so then I started just messing around and then JD, I do definitely have I think a significant vibe or feel to my work, and I use a lot of in my oil paintings I use a lot of cold wax, which can create that kind of crazy texture in the back, and I just love colors and I try to that's also what allows me to make it individualized for whomever is getting a piece of it, to use whatever colors they want. But yeah. So
is the goal to have a showing, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Eventually, I mean, I'm doing a lot of commissions right now, and could probably continue to do some for the next, month or so. And then, and I am taking class as well. So just different little projects, and then paint for the whole reason, just to paint, and then I'll see what I come up with, what type of collection it starts showing itself, and then I'll probably do a showing or something.
It's a work in progress, so to speak.
It's a work in progress.
It's so therapeutic, man.
It is.
I felt so bad for my mom during COVID because my mother's only outlet at 75 years old is to go to the casino, play slots all the time. So she couldn't really do that. So she ordered a paint set. And when I was younger, she was so creative. She did used to paint. She did used to cut hair. She went to Parsons. She, so she's got this arty background that you wouldn't really know. So I thought oh my God, this is so cool. My mom's going to start painting again. So now here we are about a year later. Mom, How you doing with the art stuff? Have you set up the art stuff? She was like, what art stuff? I was like,
She's back at
okay,
the
never
casino.
back to the
She's back-
casino. Bang, 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 bang. But you know,
Well, my grandma, my mom's mom was a painter, and she died, 25 years ago. And I didn't know her as a painter, just knew her as my grandma. And then when I started painting, my aunts and uncles would start to send me work of my grandma. And if you put one next to my painting and you didn't know who painted what, it's almost as if like my grandma is like coming through me, because we have the same exact technique, the strokes, the coloring, and it's nuts to me when I look at like our paintings next to each other. I'm like, that is insane.
Yeah.
that is really cool.
Genetic.
Yeah.
I used to think my aunt was like this amazing painter, and when she passed away and my cousin was cleaning out the house, I couldn't be there. I forget, my wife was away for work and I couldn't leave the pets and all that stuff to go help my cousin, so she had me like on FaceTime all the time, and she would show me all these things because we grew up together, so the house is exactly the same. And so she starts pulling these paintings out and I'm like, oh my God, I love that one. Look at the details. And she like turned it around and then she put it up to the phone. She goes, it's a paint by number. My whole life I thought she was so talented.
That is hilarious.
Oh my God, all these paintings were paint by number. Who knew? Friggin' gullible kids, man. Gullible kids. She never said it. Never.
That
ever
is
said
so
it.
funny. That is hilarious.
Perfect. But yeah, I do. I love looking through old family stuff and my mom's stuff, my aunt's stuff. But I think for me, I took so much art in school that I burned myself out.
Yeah.
If I had to paint or color or sketch, do anything right now, I couldn't do it. I burned myself out, and I just
No, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
creativity comes out in all kinds of ways, though. So yeah.
It doesn't, and if you're burned out, you have to take a step back from it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Force it.
Definitely. Yeah, I think in this day and age too, it's like your options are so vast, like painting almost feels old school compared to like NFT work now and digital art.
Yeah.
Like,
so true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like
instead of like graphics on a computer,
Yes.
But do you think you may do something with cows because of Campbell's obsession with cows?
Yes. In fact, I just, my nephew was like, I had a pet pig in college, and my nephew, my brother,
there's a fun fact.
What's that?
There's a fun fact.
Yeah. Like, I went to a little Catholic college in Iowa, and the nuns were like, "Celeste, do you have a pig?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's being babysat. Don't worry, I'm paying somebody 50 cents an hour." But so my brother called with his nephew or FaceTime me, and they're like, "Aunt Celeste, did you really have a pig?" I'm like, "Yes." And then he wanted me to paint him a pig, so I did. I, in fact, just shipped it out today. Finished it this past week. And so, I'll paint a cow. I'll probably send it to CO. Since we're cows.
Since I moved here to England, like I've seen more animals up close than I ever did in my 40 years of life in the States. Like horses, cows. Every year we go to this thing called the Cow Pie Festival, and you can. There's a livestock tent. Yeah, it's incredible. There's a livestock tent where there's pigs and sheep and goats and cows and everything, and you can touch them. So I was like, I wanted to touch a sheep so bad, and I just like I couldn't wait to reach in and just touch the sheep, and then I was like,
those little farm animals are my favorite.
Yeah.
I always wanted to see a pig. That's funny. That was always my thing when I went to Michigan with Judy, my friend that I sing with. She comes from Ohio and she grew up on a farm, and then her husband grew up in Michigan. So we went to this small town in Michigan, and I said, Do you think I could see a pig while I'm here? Because they thought that was the oddest question of all the things I would want to
So
see.
cityfied. We're
And they
cityfied.
actually knew someone who had pigs, and I got to see a pig in
Oh,
real life.
yay.
Yeah, and
I
cats.
love pigs. Pigs are my favorite growing up. I have like, I mean, I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, Celeste. Like maybe I am hitting a little too close to Campbell with her cow and situation with kids.
Did you come up with the cow idea for Campbell, or who came up with that?
You know, I think the writers did, but like I knew a lot of the writers too, and they knew me. And so we wanted to keep Campbell, you know, a lot of her truths similar to mine, Iowa, things of that nature. But yeah, so I think they came up with Campbell's like obsession over cows. Which
I love them.
I'll take
I
it.
love
I
them.
love cows.
Man. I went to a place called Bucket's Farm here, and there was a cow, and I got so focused on how long their eyelashes are.
Oh, really?
I just I didn't want to touch it, didn't want to pet it, just wanted to stare at those eyelashes. They were like, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, it was such a good time. It's fun though. It's like that's like everybody needs to have those little things. Like yours is pigs,
Right.
yours is pit bulls.
It falls.
Yeah, mine's
And
cat.
they almost look a little pig-like. People
They do.
My cat right now
people
pulling down.
say that.
Yeah, pulling down the TV.
There's that
Yeah,
little kitty.
cats.
Yeah, watch that TV come tumbling down.
We never did see the paw on the screen the last time. She was expecting a paw to come down on the screen.
She's usually behind there. Oh, this is her time to be wired.
Oh.
Sleep all day, wired all night.
Yep.
Yeah.
That kitty knows how to party.
Well, do you have a date for going back for season 3? Or?
You know what? They did not renew for season 3.
No.
I hate to be the bearer of that bad news, but yeah, I think last year in November, not really any reason. I mean, obviously, like, you know, it was critically acclaimed, people love it. I just think it's a small, you know, I don't even know, like, I'm not working for networks or in the
Right.
business, but yeah, so we're 2 seasons, and you know, and I think that's okay.
It's
a bummer because like throughout shooting season 2, we're like, okay, for season 3 we're gonna do
yeah.
And you know, so you come up with these fantasies and stuff of what you'd love to see. So it's truly a bummer, but also, my goodness gracious, such a blessing that we got to do 2 seasons of this incredible story. And hopefully it will live through and continue to live on the legs that it has been given. And who knows? You know, maybe another network will pick it up. Maybe
I know. I was just gonna say, I lose hope with all the streamers and stuff out there.
Exactly.
I never lose hope anymore. Yeah. I really. I don't know. You know, I'd be happy just to walk into a gallery and see your artwork. So,
hey, you both will get invitations when I make that happen.
Yes,
we'll be there. We'll have to fly them in from London, Denise.
Yes,
I would.
I have a question then, because maybe you can answer this. Was there ever a first name for Chris? Because you saw it blurred in things,
right? The dead name.
The dead name.
Yeah, the dead name. The dead name.
No,
I'm sorry.
No,
there was never really a name.
I'm so sorry.
In the script or something.
No, in the scripts, never.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was, and the reason why, I think they made a specific decision not to provide that name because it no longer exists. So I think,
it made it. Yeah, you understand.
So the situation still existed, obviously, which haunted Abby.
Right.
But we wanted to make sure that, again, living in the truth and having the respect of who Chris is, that was a specific choice. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
we'll never know.
That was
Yeah.
a really
We'll
good way
never
to do it.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good
I
way
think
to
so
do it.
too. I think so too.
Yeah. Are you do you have anything coming up aside from the
Yeah.
art? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm,
Tell us.
I mean, we're just a working actor, like seeing what comes next is usually what that means. Praying, knocking on wood, but hitting on those auditions. I have a couple commercials running right now, a couple episodes that are just came out this year. One, Maggie on Hulu, and
I just saw that. I was flipping through Hulu just now. Okay.
episode 2, and just doing what I need to be doing. So we'll see. We'll see what hits next.
Well, we're keeping our eye on you. You are on our radar.
Yeah.
Not in a stalkery
thank
weird way, but you're on our radar.
Not in a weird way, not in a scary way.
Either way, I'll take it.
That's fantastic. Well, we're gonna let you get back to your day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to bed, Jay.
Yeah, you're in London now. It's probably like what, 10?
Almost 11.
Oh my gosh.
Like an old lady.
Oh, well, thank you for taking your time, both of you, for taking your time to talk with me.
We feel honored. We feel blessed. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was 2 a.m. I happened to just look at my Instagram because I was working on something and I was trying to get pictures. And I said, let me see if there's one on Instagram. And I saw your message and I'm like, oh my God, Celeste got back to me. And then,
I was traveling and I'm so sorry that it took me forever. Because then, like, if you ever get caught in that moment, it's like, if you're like, okay, I got to remember to respond to that. And then you get like 7 more messages and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear you.
And then you're like,
yeah.
can I get back now? Is it weird?
I'm like, should I wait till Lisa up? No, I'll wait till later. I'll wait till she wakes up. Because
I know you're so respectful. I'm the complete opposite. I'm like bugging her at like 7 in the morning.
And you can. I'm just so glad. That's why it's like when you gave me the list of, I'm like, let's do Friday. I'll take the first one. I'm excited to do this.
I was so happy. Yeah, like I told you.
Anytime
she wants to do it.
Today?
Anytime.
Well, you both are a joy, and I just thank you so much for spending some of your day with me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
Okay, listen, we're keeping an eye out.
Yes,
and I'm gonna follow. I think do I follow both of you? I don't know. I'm gonna. Okay. And the Rainbow Weekend. I'm on it.
We will message.
We'll
message you to make
message me. Yes. Okay. Cool.
Thanks again. See you guys.
Have a great weekend.
Why do you always run back to the love you
like never stop chasing your dreams?
You're addicted to her touch. That's true.
See?
And I confess, my addiction is you.
We drank way too much whiskey.
Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. touch.